Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Security IQs. Elisa Mueller here. Say hello, Min.
Hi, everybody. It's Min here.
And today we are with Paul Ragusa. Paul, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Um, I have the utmost respect for both of you, so thanks for having me on the show. Um, and I am the editor for Security Systems News, going on 5 years now. Coming in March, I'll be editor for 5 years of Security Systems News. We covered the security industry from all the different angles, physical security, cybersecurity, and it's been a really exciting 5 years in the industry, as you both know, and I think the industry's improved for the better. So I know we're going to talk a little bit of, coming up here about how it has changed for the better. But so that's my current role at Security Systems News is the editor.
So, in terms of, obviously we do a lot within the diversity space, but as far as diversity and inclusion goes, what have you seen, particularly within security news in general, but also across the industry?
Well, the good thing is I've seen the industry change for the better considerably in the last 5 years. And it has been as a result of several things. I think the industry associations have really embraced diversity and inclusion. And, a lot of new people are being introduced to security that weren't in the industry before. So as you both know, cybersecurity, IT, new technology has really been embraced by the industry. It's become a part of what security is. It's for the longest time, security was very slow to change, but so much has changed in the last 5 years. And I think that has attracted new people, more diversity, which has, improved the industry overall. I mean, getting back to the industry, influence and what they're doing to promote diversity. I've been able to work with many security industries on this topic. For example, SIA, and then they have the Women in Security Forum, which I know you're very familiar with. We've partnered with them the last 2 years to highlight women in security. And this year we're going to be highlighting them each month in special features. So it's been really exciting to get to know people that I ordinarily wouldn't get to know just through that affiliation. And I do have to give a shout out to Maureen Carlo, who was a big help in getting that relationship,
Awesome.
To moving that forward and helping us really move that relationship and make it a really good thing. So throughout we've already started January. There's a great feature in our issue that you could see.
I saw that.
So I think the industry is so much better for embracing diversity, inclusion, and there's so much more we could talk about just in terms of how much better an organization could be. The organizations that do embrace diversity, what that could mean for them. But yeah, it's I think there's a lot going on in the industry right now that's positive.
Would you say that there are companies that are really, let's say, making strides in terms of their own self-measurement or setting goals in terms of diversity? I know you mentioned Maureen, which she's doing a phenomenal job just to raise that female voice within the industry. And it doesn't necessarily seem like there's a ton of organizations that sort of set that bar to push women, but it also just seems to be growing a little bit organically as well. So, obviously Min and I do work with Women in International Security, but there's all of these other little groups that are sort of popping up on their own. So I'm not sure if it's a result of organizations pushing and setting goals for their internal operations, or if people are just taking the initiative on their own and standing up and participating more or whatever. What would you say?
I think it's a combination of both. I have seen a lot of momentum in the last even just few months or the last 6 months with a lot of big companies. And it could be, they see other companies doing it. So it becomes the good thing to do. But it has been quite organic in the way it's happened over the past couple of years. So what I am seeing is on the individuals actually, standing up and making a point of making this something that should be focused on. So, for example, someone like Andrew Lanning, who's very well known in the industry, he's been a great voice because it can't just be women, talking about this, for having more women in the industry or diversity. So, what's great about Andrew, he's inspired me a bit. He came up with this, what he calls the Andrew Lanning rule, in terms that he won't speak on a panel unless it's 50-50 women and men. And I just love that. I think that's so great. So I've kind of, tried to do the same thing when we have webcasts or we do sessions. We have a conference we put on Security Next coming up in February. And I've tried to make, kind of lived up to that Andrew Lanning rule. And a lot of our panels are 50-50. There's a lot, we have almost a 50-50 split in speakers. Min, I know you're speaking.
Yes.
We're very excited to have you.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's I think it's everyone kind of pushing each other. But I think it does take kind of a conscious effort. It can't just be, corporate speak. I think it needs to be driven by people who really do care passionately about it. So
we found something really interesting with the WISE group, the Women in International Security, where we're talking about men who are supporting the conversation, in terms of diversity, and we dubbed them wise guys. So,
and they dubbed them wise guys.
Yeah, and apparently they loved it, and apparently it's taking off with some of the other chapters. So, it would be great. I don't know if Security News wants to start it, but it'd be great if there was some sort of women's support teams out there that they could sort of get together and push those efforts, and maybe Andrew would like to lead the pack, since he does it so well.
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
But so it's an interesting perspective to be able to see, people stepping forward and wanting to speak on panels, and then also companies that are really sort of encouraging or pushing the effort.
And then one other thing I did want to add about that is it's really, I know it's the right thing to do, but in addition to being the right thing to do, it makes so much sense. I mean, if I could tell a company, the companies that are more diverse, their bottom line improves by 20%. I mean, people will be jumping like, oh, wait, what did you just say? Because everyone's so concerned with the bottom line, but I think really there's been studies that show not only that more diverse groups are better at solving problems, to coming up with more creative solutions and ideas, but companies that are more diverse in nature have actually shown to be more profitable and be more successful. So I think it's not only the right thing to do, it makes sense from a bottom line perspective.
Well, what do you recommend companies take a look at in evaluating themselves in terms of, do we have the right, gender within an organization? I think one of the challenges is you don't want companies to go and just plop gender in because because of the gender, right?
Exactly.
So how do you propose, or what do you recommend, taking a look at this from the industry across, what companies need to do to evaluate themselves and push this initiative forward?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And really, it comes down to where are you looking to find new people? What is that path to get to your company? So I know a lot of companies are reevaluating that and saying we need a program. We need to create programs that open up more opportunities for people. That we usually in the past did not have. So maybe it's connecting with universities and making it more accessible to apply. So I think the companies do need to make a conscious effort, and maybe it is devoting a group within the company to come up with a program to attract a more diverse group of people that are applying for their jobs, because doing it the same way. And if you look around your company and there's a bunch of middle-aged guys sitting around, maybe you should look to some other ways to bring in some new fresh blood. Because I mean, if you look at the industry, right, it was always like the old, the old man's club or middle-aged man's club. But if you look at how it's been infused with such youth and diversity, I mean, our 40 under 40 award program, which is I'm really proud of. It's great to meet all these the next generation of our industry and promote that. And I think that's really important to, bring in that new perspective and it just makes the industry better. So
even from a security standpoint, right? And I'm actually writing a piece on this right now.
Oh, awesome.
Min and I are working on it together. But just from the security standpoint, you can't look at every facet of security from the same lens. So whether that's from the female perspective or the male perspective or any age range, you really have to get, multiple points of view. Take something as simple as just a simple fire drill. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody has an injury that you didn't plan for, and how is that person do they know what to do now on how to get out? Or maybe maybe there's a female who's pregnant and you didn't think about the fact that
or male that's pregnant. No, we're not.
Well, but it's much harder to walk up and down the stairs when you're pregnant, right? So you have to think about all these different facets, and without that sort of lens to look at any policy through, particularly security and safety policy, how do you account for those different types of situations? You really have to encompass, if you're looking at protecting assets, you have to look at all of the assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's, unless you're in a building where it's, middle-aged white men across the board.
Wait, hold on. I was there and I was wearing high heels and I was heavily pregnant and I was walking a four flights of stairs ups and down. Okay. I'll just put that in perspective. I didn't have anyone to complain to because they were all men.
Well, but again, if you don't have that perspective, you're not looking at your security plans, whether it's the actual physical security, the cybersecurity, everything from different lenses, then you don't have a complete solution. You just don't. No. And the industry also doesn't have a diverse audience pushing them to develop solutions that encompass all assets within a facility, right?
Great
so that you make a really good point. The more diverse the conversation, the better the overall solution. I totally agree with that.
Well, an interesting point also about mindset, and which is something that I think would be very interesting to touch on, is how do you evolve that mindset to ensure that the younger folks who are green coming in on board can get easily accepted by the folks who's been in this industry for such a long time and kind of instituted some organization of how things should be already. And they're not easily in that club. So it's a very interesting thing, is evolution of that mindset. So that way, everything that you're talking about, Lisa, which is really, really good, but the mindset's got to change with the others to evolve with the younger minds. Otherwise, you can't ever get there.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No.
It's a culture shift.
No, it's a good point. Well, maybe Paul will start some initiatives within the magazine to get some of the younger voices and some of the different perspectives, and start encouraging some more people to participate.
That's what's great about the 40 under 40. It's just access to this incredible array of voices, the next generation. So we've been doing that for quite a long time now, and like I said, I think it's important that we do that, and the industry associations are doing that as well. Yeah. They're doing a great job of that. So it's happening on multiple levels, which is great.
That's good.
You are seeing a change.
When does that come out? Was that already released?
Well, it's similar to the women in security coverage that we're doing. Every month you're going to see features. So we announce all the 40 under 40 winners in December of last year, in December. So and then we're profiling about 4 a month for the next 10 months.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
I just missed the 40 mark.
We're always 29. Hold on, we're always 29.
That's right. That's right.
29. So Paul, start up a column. The ladies that are always 29.
That's a great idea. I like it.
Ladies that are always 29. I'm sorry.
And I'll nominate you. You nominate me.
Perfect. We'll do that, and we'll have Paul write us up. Not tickets, okay?
Well, it's funny you joke, but I felt bad. Someone nominated someone from their office, and I mean, she looked young to this person, younger than 40.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, she had to tell him, I'm over 40. I felt terrible. I was like, wow, you do look very young, so I can understand where then, he thought she was could
Well,
win
maybe
the
you could
award.
do a spotlight piece on her. or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. That's exactly
Let
right.
her in. There's nothing wrong with people over the hill. I'm kidding.
Well, what's funny is we created what we call the Security Legend Award. We started last year, and I know,
remember.
yeah, Jim Henry, I know was the first recipient. with
Yes,
Bill.
I know Jim Henry very
Yes,
well.
yeah, he was the first recipient with Bill Bozeman from PSA.
Yes.
That's
So there,
great.
yeah, so we, it's funny. Everyone's like, you need an award for people over 40. So
Yes,
there
what?
you have it.
You should do a roast for folks that's been in the industry for too long. Also,
Oh, I love it. That's a
you
good
got to
idea.
do a roast. We have to do a roast.
Yes, and you could be on the panel.
We'll roast everyone.
Yes, that's a great
Min's
idea.
life goal is to roast everybody.
Oh, come on.
No, I think this idea has legs.
I do no such thing as I like to tell people I'm innocent
Mm.
until proven guilty. Just saying.
Well, and this was a really good topic, and I would love to continue to follow up with Magazine and how they're doing with the topic of diversity.
Or even
and
get some of the
inclusion.
features, like the featured speakers or featured on 40 and 40 on with us to speak.
That'd be great. Yeah. If you could set up some of those, Paul, that would be great. We'll have you guys back.
To have
And
them on.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
And
It's
we'll
just,
do
I mean, I look back at some of the people that won, and now they're, running companies and CEOs, and so it's really amazing to watch them actually grow into leaders in the industry. So
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely do another segment
cool.
on them if you can get them back.
Yeah.
But that ends our segment for this episode, and stay tuned for more with Paul on the next topic. We'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.